Beauty from Ashes. Welcome back to another episode with my honorable guest, Sarah. As you have heard the last two episodes, we went through life before and then life during. We are still in the time when a tragedy occurred. A tragedy that resulted in losing her legs, in addition to 50 at least surgical procedures. And in spite of that, I am sitting with a giant who continues to be joyful, smiling, and even willing to give hope, strength, resilience to so many who may be going through similar afflictions. Sarah, welcome back. Thank you for being here. And thank you for opening your heart and mind for all of us. We were talking last time about inside the hospital. And you start saying 3 groups of people praying, some of them praying for you to go in peace because they were afraid you could be brain dead. Some others praying for a miracle. Your dad is going out of his mind looking for places. How can you walk back? Your mom's praying. What about you? Were you angry, depressed? Were you did not believe what's happening to you and this is a nightmare, you will wake up out of it? Did you ever get to a point where if they leave you alone, they are afraid you may kill yourself?
The part that I was in the hospital, the rehab part, it took a good 2 months in the inpatient rehab there. And I had a very, very busy routine. So the time I was in the hospital, that I was learning how to do all those normal chores and things that to take care of myself and how to get ready and all of that, that kept me kind of busy, that I was just, all I wanted to do was know as much as I can before I leave here of how to do things on my own.
Like how to comb your hair, how to brush your hair, how to take a bath, things like that?
Everything. Like how to even transferring from the bed to go on a chair, to be able to go to the restroom. All of those things
so
take for granted.
Again, summarize for me again, what is actually functioning in your extremities
right now?
At that time?
At this time, I was bedridden, and because I had the halo in my head and I was like in the bed for a long time, I wasn't able to move anything except the right hand. And I didn't know how to do anything else.
So you couldn't even move your head because of the fixation.
And at a lot of the times, because they were closing up the wounds on both limbs, they were very big wounds. One of the surgery, they had to do what's called a graft. So they took all the skin off my back to cover all the skin off my left side. And with that, it was torturous to be able to even be sleeping or turning, because there's something healing somewhere that you don't want the dressing to come off, or you don't want something excruciating pain is what it was. So it was a very tough time that to be after each of the surgeries and the debridement to be able to come out and do any movement. But at the very end, that last couple of months is when I was able to learn the physical therapy part of it, which is, how to sit up. Started by just sitting up, just sit. And that I used to fight with them about sitting, just simply sitting. But they were great. They were a great team. All the nurses and all everybody. Like God put every single person, the right person in the right moment to be able to equip me to have this feeling of, okay, this is what happened. I was always like, in general, I'm a positive person. So I like this is what happened. So you have 2 choices. Either sit in a corner.
Let me interrupt you. So when you say this is what happened, that includes having no legs, never will walk again. You already accepted that.
I don't know if I accepted it, or is it just that I woke up with having to follow directions of how to do things with losing that leg.
I must say, has to be the grace of God. There is
Yeah.
no way in earth someone who's very active, a young mom, a pharmacist, and can reconcile within herself a fact that all of a sudden became part of her life, and you became not angry even at it.
There was a lot of moments of, when what I was going to tell you is when at the last part they teach me they take me from the hospital and they bring me to my home to figure out if we need to adjust ramps and stuff. This was the moment that depressed, angry feeling happened.
You mean when they took you to
I went back home.
to the environment where you have to live in,
Yeah.
and you found that many of the things that you have to do, even your,
Yes.
for example, tub, you can't go in anymore. I see.
And at the very beginning, I had to wake up somebody to bring me a commode by the bed, when I needed to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And that's that's a lot. It's a lot. Because for somebody that did everything and just always wanted to do more, it was all these little things that they come to you at that moment. Because in the hospital, you're surrounded. You press a button,
Yeah.
the nurse comes, helps you,
Yeah.
does this, gets you this.
Yeah.
So it's different.
And you are not used for people to serve you. You are always serving everyone in your own household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when it really hit. Also in the hospital time, I was so blessed with how many people, just all the congregation and all the friends and all of everybody, just the support and the love that people came and visited constantly, having visitors, somebody there asking about me. So I was when I first woke up, I was like, wow, there must be something big that happened to me.
Wow. I don't understand still. How are you laughing and smiling? This is
That's what I didn't understand. Remember in the beginning, I told you I used to hear these stories,
yeah,
and really contemplate on how did they move on,
yeah,
with what happened to them. And it turns out is that when you taste something like this, and you're cling to God, and you remind yourself that this is something that's temporary, that He will. I went in sessions of asking the why question. The why question is a very hard question to answer. Why me? I was doing everything normal that was supposed to happen. I served, I did my degree, the why question was hard. But after praying about that why question for some time, the best answer that until now I stick to and I remind myself is that it doesn't matter what I'm going through now as long as He's with me. Because there's people that are full legs, full functioning, strong, healthy, and walking around the earth, and they are all broken inside. Mm-hmm. And then you see somebody else that doesn't have much money, or very poor places, that they have peace and joy, and they're able to go. So what's the difference? The difference is not the situation they're in. It's He's with me. I'll be able to do whatever it is I'm in.
And that settled the why question.
That settled the why question. It was a long why question.
I mean, even prophets and saints asked, why me? David said in one of his Psalms, Job, why are you afflicting me? Why do you have to do this to me? And it's amazing that very early in your journey, you're able to settle that, because I am sure even your own kids, maybe even they're asking the same question, why mom?
Yeah, they until now, I think, my daughter, she honors, she's like, I know, but how come? I just feel bad, feeling bad for her. When she was little, when I first came home, she wasn't fully aware. But now that she's older, it's kind of that thoughts, that questions are coming to her.
Yeah.
So we had those conversations.
You brought the idea of support from the community, which is beautiful. Did you feel that you rather not hear the sympathy words, or you were okay with it?
I'm going to be honest with you that like there was a lot of like too much of people like wanting to be with me or come over or help with this or do with this, and or just come and sit. And it almost made me feel like I mean I don't, it made me feel more guilty that you're taking time out of your family and spending that much time with me.
Seriously.
Even, like that's sometimes, because it was a lot. It was a lot. Some people were like spending, like mind boggled with what happened, and they, especially my sisters, honestly, like, like they just didn't want to leave my side, and I'm like, go home, take care of your family. It was obviously from the kindness of their heart. And that's when everybody is trying to reach somebody that's going through a difficulty. It's because they care. It's not because, even though in that moment you might take it in a different way, or you might think, I don't want it. But I found the most thing that I liked was I had one friend that she used to send me a verse every single day for that time that I was in the hospital.
So you felt this was much more helpful than just spending hours with you.
Yes, so much so to the point that even now in service, like when we do Bible study and read chapters, like I like to send verses on the groups and all, and because I felt like the verses that came on the right time. Even though that person that sent it because they just sent it or they came across it.
Yeah.
But the word of God is alive and it's active. So we forget that sometimes.
Yes.
Because we hear a lot of times, many times, and we heard it before. We heard this story before. We read this part before. But, in the deepest, lowest moments, these words, they come out at you, and they're so alive. And that's the strength that they give you.
Yeah. Sympathy from people, did it ever reach to a level where you become depressed, crying when you reached home and you found the environment that you used to live and know and clean every inch of it, you're not able to do it in?
Oh yeah. It was very frustrating to ask for help. I remember my son, he was like, he wanted to do everything for me when he was younger. He's a teenager now, so it's like he's driving me crazy. But when he was little, before he goes to sleep, he's like, Mom, do you want me to put your chair in the charger? Do you want me to get you a water? Do you want me to do this? And Helene too, like he's just, he put up a lot with me, because being the person that I was, like just independent and doing stuff, it was that was the part. But when I went home, realized that I needed help. I needed to ask for help for things. That got to me. That took a while to be able to accept and ask. Sometimes it's okay to ask, and it's okay to learn things, to do things differently. It might not be as fast as I used to do it before, but it's getting done.
So feeling that you are willing to accept the help of others was not easy in the beginning. Yeah, I can see that. For a very independent mom, that must have been difficult. Again, so many lessons, so many sermons are being offered here without a person who is trying to give a sermon. Just her life, and even the tragedies that happened to her. When you see the smile on her face, you wonder how many of us are upset over very trivial things. And her smile is like a huge ocean that swallows all our trivialities. I hope you guys are benefiting as I am benefiting, because this is not your usual program, but this is a story, a life, a journey, and a mission. And Sarah's mission is to really educate, support, give hand, and give a big smile to those who are likewise afflicted. Thank you.